Good afternoon, church. Pastor Craig here, sitting outside on my patio. Finally finished this thing off and we can enjoy it. It's great to be sitting outside. You know, I was thinking about riding my bike. Now, that's probably no surprise to you. You know that I enjoy riding my bike and something that I do as often as I can. But I was thinking this week about how my riding style has changed over the years. When I first started riding road bike, I was obsessed with focusing on how far can I go and how fast can I go. I would log every kilometer that I rode. I'd keep track of what my average speed was. All I wanted to focus on was how far could I go and how fast could I go. And when I did my first long distance ride, an actual tour where I rode from Calgary to Kelowna, I carried that over with me. All I focused on was I want to get from point A to point B. I've got 6 days to ride from Calgary to Kelowna. So day one, I took off and I rode hard and I was tracking how fast I was going, and I got to the destination at the end of the day and I felt great. Then the second day came. I didn't feel quite as good the second day. In fact, by 2/3 of the way through the day, I realized if I finish riding this day, I am not going to be riding tomorrow. So I actually pulled off and got a ride to the destination. Over the years, my riding style has changed a little bit. It's changed to where now I don't focus so much on the destination and the distance as I do on enjoying the journey of riding. So what changed? Well, on that day when I was struggling, as part of that ride, I don't remember if it was actually that exact day, but one of the days on that ride, somebody rode past me, saw me staring intently at the road in front of me, focused on getting from point A to point B, slowed down long enough to ride beside me and say, "Craig, enjoy the journey." I said, "What do you mean enjoy the journey? I'm having a great time riding my bike." He said, "No, look around. Enjoy the sights, enjoy the sounds, experience the ride. Don't just focus on getting to the destination." Excuse me. And I think sometimes our walk with Christ can kind of be like what my riding style was. All we focus on is, have I achieved the right checkpoints? Have I got from point A to point B? Have I prayed the sinner's prayer? Have I been baptized? Have I memorized enough verses? Have I studied enough scripture? Have I attended church regularly? These are all checkpoints that we put on this journey, and we focus on, I've got to get from point A to point B. Now that I'm at point B, let's move on to point C. But I kind of think that our relationship with Christ should not so much be focusing on getting from point A to point B, as actually enjoying the journey that we are on with God, growing to be more like Him, growing in understanding of who He is, growing daily in understanding of what it means to live in a relationship with Him. Reminds me of a verse from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15 that says, "Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will in all things grow up into Him who is the head, that is Christ." When I was in high school, I remember being part of a Bible study when this particular passage was looked at. And the reason I remember it is because I jotted a note down on the margin of my Bible. The leader of the Bible study pointed out to us an easy way to remember how we can grow, with the word growth, standing for go right on, walking towards Him. Focus on walking towards Christ. Not getting to Christ, but walking towards Him. That day that I struggled with riding and ended up pulling off early? Somebody came up to me afterwards in the evening and said, "I rode with you most of today. I think I know why you didn't finish off the ride." I said, "Oh, why is that?" I said, "What did you eat today?" I said, "Well, I had breakfast. I had my lunch, a little snack along the way." He shook his head. He said, "Do you realize how many calories you are burning as you're riding your bike these days? You are not getting enough food." If we want to focus on growing in our relationship with Christ, we need to be receiving spiritual food as well. Not just viewing Bible study as a checkpoint along the way, but as an opportunity to be taught by God. We need to be reading Scripture. We need to be praying. We need to be studying with others, gathering for worship and prayer and for service. We need to be spending time together and spending time alone with God and allowing Him to teach us, allowing those times to be times of receiving spiritual nourishment. But you know, it's so easy for me to flip back into that task-oriented mode, to focus on just getting from point A to point B, both on my bike and in my walk with the Lord. But my prayer is that God will help each one of us to truly enjoy the journey He's calling us to take with Him. The journey of daily growing in understanding of what it means to live in relationship with Him. Growing in understanding and applying that understanding in our lives as we seek to honor Him in everything that we do, as we see Him a part of our everyday lives, and as we see Him a part of circumstances around us. May we be growing in our relationship with Him. Not just focusing on the next step, but truly enjoying the journey and growing with Him. Speaking of gathering together, I do want to just remind everyone who's part of the Estevan Alliance Church that this Sunday will be the installation service for myself. A few months late, yes, but we're finally able to do it, and so we're looking forward to having our district superintendent here with us, Bernie Vanderwall, who will be preaching and will also be leading in the installation service. Just a reminder that if you are wanting to take part in the service in person, you will need to pre-register. I expect we are going to be full this week, and so we will need everyone to pre-register to ensure that we have spaces, that we can ensure physical distancing between family groupings, and yet still be able to get everybody in. Also, just a reminder that we continue to have the expectation that all who arrive on Sunday will wear a mask from the time they enter the building until singing is done. We've had a lot of people choosing to continue wear the mask through the whole service. That's great. That's absolutely fine. But we do require it for that time period from when we enter the building until singing is done. This is our way of taking steps as church leadership to ensure that not only are we abiding by the restrictions that are put in place for us, but are at times going over and above those restrictions to care for our church family and to care for the community. And so I look forward to worshiping together with you on Sunday. I hope you have a great week, and let's continue to enjoy the journey of growing in our relationship with Christ and not just focus on the end goal of that ultimate destination. Let's grow together. Let's be the church God has called us to be. Have a great week, church.